Selectmen meeting for Monday, December 5th. To order at 6:31. I'll just read through the agenda briefly. Call to order, Pledge of Allegiance, visitors' comments, public hearing at 6:30 p.m. The Board of Selectmen will hold a classification hearing on Monday, December 5, 2022 at 6:30 at the Municipal Office Building, 307 Main Street, Gilbertville, on the issue of tax allocation among the property classes for the fiscal year 2023. Minutes, August 16, 2022, August 29, 2022, September 29, 2022, October 3, 2022, and October 4, 2022. Old business, approval of letter to applicant regarding vote for horse racing location. Other old business, new business, review Lester contract for Board of Health Services. Great Meadowbrook Farm disclosure of Chairwoman Quink's General Law, Chapter 268, Section 23B3 disclosure form. Other new business, water warrant December billing, 2022 audit update 2023 audit, committee appointment procedure, discussion and or vote relative to ARPA funding, committee reports, town administrator report, signatures and approvals, selectmen roundtable, and adjournment. First item on the agenda, Nicole, you do have a flag behind you, so if everyone could rise and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Before we get started, are there any visitor comments on anything that is not on the agenda? Nicole has you muted, so if you can raise your hand. Nicole, I don't see any hands raised, do you?
No.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda is the public hearing. Nicole, I didn't see in our package the notice I need to read for the public hearing.
I can read it. It should be the first thing on your packet.
Is it the memo from the Board of Selectmen?
Yeah.
The Board of Assessors from the Board of Selectmen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is to the Board of Selectmen from the Board of Assessors, dated December 5, 2022, tax classification. The Board of Assessors, pending final certification of the FY23 tax rate by the Department of Revenue, hereby recommends that the Board of Selectmen retain one tax rate for all classes of property. The board feels that the relatively small benefit to the residential taxpayer that could be achieved using two tax rate is not warranted, considering the dramatic increase in taxes to be paid by the commercial, industrial, personal property taxpayer. Hardwick is a largely residential community that simply does not have enough of a commercial, industrial, personal property base to make classification worthwhile. The pro tempore tax rates are as follows: single tax rate $13.30, shift tax rates residential $12.69, commercial, industrial, personal property $19.95. So we will open the hearing at 6:35. Jen, would you like to speak to the board about the tax classification?
Well, just that if we do a shift in the tax, it would be quite a burden on a very small percentage of commercial, industrial, and personal property taxpayers. So the recommendation is just to retain one tax rate across all classes of property.
Kelly or Rob, any questions or concerns? We've always historically done a single tax classification across all classes of property. So this would be, if we were to go to the shift tax rate, that would be a change in what we've historically done.
That's all I was going to add to, Julie.
I'm all set. Got nothing.
Any other discussion before I close the hearing? Hearing none, I will close the hearing at 6:36. And I will entertain a motion to approve the single tax rate of $13.30 as proposed by the Board of Assessors in their memo to the Board of Selectmen dated December 5th, 2022, and as discussed by Jen in this meeting.
I would make a motion, just as you said, Julie.
Second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion on the single tax rate classification of $13.30?
Just one thing I need to add. We're under 2.5 by 18,000. By 18,000. Where is it? I did have the right. I'm so sorry. I don't have the right amount, but we're under 2.5 by 18,000 and some change. Last year we were under by 7,000.
That's good news. It's better than being over, right?
It is, and 18,000 seems like quite a bit, but actually it isn't. 7,000 is a hair's breadth. 18,000 is just comfortable.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Jen.
Thank you, Jen, for all your hard work, Jen.
You're very welcome. Thank you, all of you.
Since we are in a virtual meeting, I do need to call the roll. So this is to approve the motion as was made and seconded. Kelly?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
And Julie is an aye as well. So the motion carries. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. We have the minutes of August 16, 2022, August 29, 2022, September 29, 2022, October 3rd, 2022, and October 4th, 2022.
Julie.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I had to take the October minutes and the September minutes out because they just you weren't gonna approve them. So I did go over them with Angie today, so they'll be ready for the next one, and she's working on the other ones. But it really wasn't detailed enough that I thought you would even entertain approving.
Okay.
So it's just the August. Sorry.
That's okay. I did see it. I didn't see them in there, but I thought maybe I missed them, so I thought it was me.
Yeah,
So we are approving the August 16th, 2022 and August 29th, 2022 minutes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Kelly or Rob, did you have any corrections or adjustments?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. So on August 16th, 2022, throughout the minutes, it says how I motioned or seconded, but I'm not listed in attendance.
Okay.
So we may just want to update that. That was, I think, the only thing that I saw.
I didn't catch that. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly.
And that was the only thing I caught.
Rob, any adjustments or
I
corrections?
think I'm okay. As far as I can remember, it looks good.
Okay. So why don't we do the minutes individually? So I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the Board of Selectmen for August 16th, 2022, with the correction of including Kelly as in attendance.
I'll make a motion as stated by Julie Quink.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. So any other discussion on the minutes with the corrections? So I will call the roll to approve the August 16th minutes. Kelly?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
And Julie is aye. Motion carries. Now I'll entertain a motion to approve the August 29th, 2022 minutes.
I'll make a motion as stated by Julie Quink.
Second that.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Kelly?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
And Julie is an aye. Motion carries. Okay. So we will have the updated minutes through October 4th for the next meeting, Nicole?
Yes, and hopefully more. Hopefully up to current.
That would be great. So there was a question in the chat that I will answer. There's a long lag time in the minutes because we're trying to get back on track with minutes. We realize that we're a little bit behind in approving minutes, so we are trying to get those back on track. The meetings are recorded, and I believe the recorded meetings are posted on YouTube, so anything that would be in the minutes, you should see posted on our channel. The minutes are just am I correct, Nicole, that the minutes are just a written
And like a synopsis of what happened. Really, the only thing that needs to be in minutes are votes.
Right. Okay. So we are trying to get back on track. Thank you. It's a good question. Next item on the agenda is old business. Is there any other old business that we need to discuss? I think the only thing I would bring up, which is has been on past agendas, is the town administrator review. We've sort of been delaying that because of the meat of some of the other stuff that is sort of come before the board. With the other board members' permission, we have the public information session on the 19th. So perhaps we can do Nicole's review in January. Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Okay. So Nicole, could you make sure that this gets on the first agenda for January?
Yep.
Thank you. Any other old business that we need to address?
I don't think so, not here.
Okay. Under new business, we have reviewed the Lester contract for the Board of Health Services. Nicole, do you want to, oh, I'm sorry. I missed something under old business. I apologize. Approval of letter to applicant regarding vote for horse racing location. Kelly and Rob, did you have a chance to review the letter?
I did.
Yes.
Questions or concerns? Or Nicole, was this drafted with the assistance of town council?
Yes.
Okay. Kelly, Rob, any questions, comments, concerns on the letter?
No, I had brought up at the last meeting that, we added the other events that had happened, and that seems to have, that's happened, so.
I think I'm all set with it.
Okay. So I think we need a vote of approval for this letter to be sent to the Gaming Commission. And also, so Nicole, are we also sending a copy of this to the applicant?
Yes. So the letter is required by the applicant. So the Gaming Commission has us write this letter. But the applicant, it's part of their submission. So I did speak with the Gaming Commission, and that was sort of like the process. So
there is a correction to the letter. I just actually saw it. The date of the vote is incorrect. It should be January 7 of 2023.
Oh, yep.
Oh, I'm gonna make that mistake for a while.
That's okay. It's okay that this this doesn't need to be signed by the chair or a member of the Board of Selectmen. It can be signed by you. We can authorize you to sign it.
Yes.
Okay. So in our motion, I think we have to authorize you to sign it as well as the approval of the letter. Are we ready for a motion on this?
I guess I can make it. I move that we send this letter to the applicant and the gaming commission and allow Nicole to sign it on our behalf.
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? I think the only thing that that Nicole will make the correction for the date on the second page. Okay, hearing no other discussion, I will call the roll for the vote. Kelly?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
And Julie is an aye. There was a question in the chat about where the letter is available. Nicole has a copy of the letter, and once it's corrected and signed, you can certainly request it from her. Okay. Sorry about that. I missed that under old business. Under new business, sorry, Nicole, you were started to talk about the review of the Leicester contract for Board of Health Services. I think we've all been copied on sorry, 1 second. You've all been copied on the correspondence coming from, you've all been copied on the contract, and you've also been copied on the correspondence that the board has received from, I believe we've been forwarded 3 of them, Nicole, is that correct?
Yes.
One of which is sorry, I'm just trying to find all of them in the packet. One of them is from Francis Daigle, who is from the Board of Health in Leicester. We also have correspondence from John Samick from the winery, and we have correspondence from I'm flipping through all of the pages here. From it's coming through as King Glass. Nicole.
I'm not sure who that is. I think his name is Mike or something like that, but I don't know who he is.
Okay. And then we also have correspondence from Stan and from Judy Cohn. And also correspondence from Lori Micah on behalf of Jason Garolitis, Jay Garolitis Contracting. So in the, I'm not sure, I see Judy, I'm not sure if Stan is on. Nicole, do we know if Stan is on?
I see a Stan, I'm not sure if it's our Stan.
Oh, hi Stan. Hi Stan and Judy. We're in receipt of your note, I believe, just today, or it's dated the 5th, so we just received this today about your wish to terminate the contract with the Leicester Regional Public Health Coalition and the IMA. It's your belief that the contract is not being met, has never been fully met. I know that we do have 3 letters that have come with concerns about the current situation in the town. And it looks like you've gone piece by piece through the contract and sort of details your position relative to each of the items in the contract. Nicole, does it make sense to have, I guess, sort of seeing all the correspondence that we've received, to have a meeting with Francis and Lester to talk about the coalition and the project? I'm presuming, based on the contract, that we can't just back out of the contract if the board were inclined to, because it's grant funded. Is that correct?
Well, I'm not positive about that, but I certainly wouldn't recommend it.
I'm just sort of looking at the contract. So the contract says we can terminate by either party or no reason on 30 days written notice. Do we have any sense that Lester is wanting to terminate this contract? I know we've got correspondence from Stan and Judy that they would propose that we terminate the contract. Have we gotten anything from Lester on their side indicating they want to terminate the contract?
Lester does not want to terminate the contract.
Okay. Kelly, Rob, any comments, concerns, questions that you think we need to have answered?
I guess I'll just maybe add my 2 cents as I read through all of this the best that I could. And I know we got Stan's letter a little bit late, so I probably haven't thoroughly, I will admit to not have thoroughly gone through that as of right now. I'm certainly concerned about the letters that we're receiving. I've only heard good things about, Lester's input here. So I'm concerned, this was a great grant opportunity for the town, and this potentially could go for more years than it was actually written for. Am I correct, Nicole? It was for 3 years and it could be extended for 3 additional years.
That's exactly right.
Right. And so, just from a standpoint of it's hard to get people that want to volunteer and, run for these positions. We see that every day. And so my fear would be if we were to think about canceling this contract, I don't know where we would stand with all of the inspections that they do. So I guess I have some concerns about that.
I honestly agree with you, Kelly. I'm concerned that we don't have the experience on the board for some of the more in-depth stuff that the Board of Health can provide, Lester's Board of Health can provide us with. But I think we definitely need to have a conversation. Everybody needs to get into a room and should be willing to get into a room and discuss this.
I agree.
I don't know the best way to do it. If it's at a public meeting or take one person out of each group and kind of sit down and discuss it, which might be a little easier than have it as an open forum. Gives people a little more chance to talk freely and not feel like they're being watched or persecuted.
On display.
Maybe it's a misunderstanding.
So, sorry, Rob.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Stan, you're on the call. I mean, I would make the proposal that we try to schedule a meeting with your concerns with Lester, and if that includes Stan, Ian, well, you'd have to have a posted meeting if both of you were there. So I would make the suggestion that we have a member from the Board of Selectmen, perhaps a member from the Board of Health, Nicole, and we ask representatives from Lester to attend and work through some of your concerns, or at least discuss some of your concerns or questions. Stan, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'd like to see the letters that you're referencing before I decide to do anything else.
Okay, Nicole can certainly provide those to you. They are, they are public information through the Board of Selectmen's office, so Nicole can forward those to you, and perhaps we can. I don't want to let this sit too long from either your perspective or their perspective. Certainly if we understand that we've got a lot in front of us. All boards have a lot in front of us. But if we can get that meeting together and, have the conversation sooner than later. So if Nicole can get those to you, and through Nicole, you can reach out. Nicole will schedule a meeting. Kelly or Rob, do you have a preference on which one of us? Judy, I see your hand up. I'll be with you in a second. Kelly or Rob, do you have a preference on which one of us attends? Would you want me to attend, or either one of you want to attend?
I'd be happy either way.
Are you proposing that we go to a group meeting with Lester as the next step?
So I think, in fairness, you should read what is in the correspondence that we have received. If you haven't received and been copied on it, that you should be copied on it, and you should have a chance to read it. I do. I sort of propose that we have a conversation with your concerns relative to the coalition and what you feel isn't being provided. My understanding, and Nicole has, I believe, polled some of the other communities that are in the coalition, and they seem to be happy with the service. And so I just sort of, if there are wrinkles that we can iron out, and as Kelly mentioned, sort of continue on with this, that, it would be sort of meaningful to try to move forward that way. If there's a way we can repair what isn't working for us, I certainly don't want to see, the complaints or the correspondence come through. And, if there's a way we can resolve it, it would be appreciated. I believe you were copied on, I'm just going to look at the correspondence, Stan. I believe you were copied on the correspondence with Lester. I don't believe you were copied on the correspondence that came from John Samick. So Nicole, can you make sure that gets sent over? And also from King Glass, and also from Jason Garolitis, please.
Yes.
And then once Stan has had the opportunity to review it, and Judy as well, or the Board of Health has had the opportunity to review it, why don't we connect with, the board's permission? We can connect, whether it's myself or Kelly, with Stan and Nicole and Lester, and sort of get that dialogue going and get the meeting set up.
I want to express a concern I have right now, that I feel like me personally and the current Board of Health is under a bit of a witch hunt by the Selectmen and administration. At your October meeting, there were some very strong slanderous comments made that were recorded and reported in the newspaper. And upon a public records request upon my part, absolutely nothing was provided to support anything that was said in that meeting. So now we have the second meeting where the agenda is very broad. It's a Lester contract, and I asked for more details, and I did not receive details of what that agenda the topics were, and if there was more to discuss. And Judy and I proactively provided information, which is now not being incorporated in this meeting. Now, I understand that it may, for some of you, have come late because of your work schedules, and I understand that. But it's still something we tried to do to provide information for this meeting. And the one person on the list of complaints, so I'm assuming that what you're presenting are complaints, not compliments. I don't know who that person is, but I am very familiar with 3 of the complainants, let's say, if that's what they are, and their situation. And I can assure you, if we want to discuss this in a public forum, there will be support on our part for problems that the Board of Health has had to face to deal with situations in town. And what's disappointing to me, extremely so, is that there's actually no felt support for the Board of Health by the selectmen and the administrative support you have. Completely no support. In fact, the feeling is mostly one form of attack or doubt or challenge in one way or another all the time. So I think you should know that that's very disappointing and hard to deal with. You talk about not having volunteers, and you are not supporting your Board of Health. The agreement that you signed, that the Board of Health did not sign actually, but you signed, is nothing more than an offer by the town of Leicester to provide services not unlike what we can acquire through local health agents like we have helping us right now. It is not a Board of Health agreement. It's not a regional Board of Health. Each town has an independent contract, and all the contracts are not the same. Some towns, one town gets special services for what they negotiate. The town of Leicester has been very astute in seeking grants and very creative to find a way to pay for their staff. The staff that we interface with are not the Board of Health of Leicester. You have referenced a couple of times in this call the Board of Health of Leicester. That is not who we are dealing with. That is not who signed the contract. That is not who provides services. There's a group called staff, and that staff is paid for by the grant. That staff is comprised of a health coordinator, a health agent officer, and a health director, an epidemiologist, and a public nurse. It has never achieved the staffing level they committed to. It is mostly never on time with a project, which frustrates many people. We mitigate that by working with the coordinator in Leicester, mostly on very friendly terms, to try to find out where information is, exchange information, and to get the projects completed. The health director of LRPHC has approximately not responded to 72% of my communication with him. Okay, that's from records of my email correspondence, and that's not including phone calls not returned, voice messages not returned, and not being able to talk to him because his voicemail box is full. So the situation is more closely related, Judy and I feel, to what we've shared with you. And we've been very gentle to just highlight key points that we think should be considered and that affect the work. When this whole idea was brought forth, there was a letter of intent, is what it's typically called. It was, in this case, in most contracts, precede a letter of intent, so people know the spirit of what they're entering into. In this case, they called it a municipal statement of commitment. that municipal statement of commitment said that we would cooperate with lead municipality to ensure compliance and scope of service for public health excellence in the program for shared services. There has been, from almost day one, a lack of cooperation. And not a lack of willingness to cooperate on our part, but troubles with cooperating, let's put it that way. The other part that we agreed to as an intent in the letter of commitment was that use of funds under this program were only to augment rather than replace current municipal funding for public health staff or services. This was addressed several times by me with Nicole Parker, particularly when we were coming upon the budgeting season. Several times, Nicole was fiercely against Judy or I appointing any support, which is our role to appoint support. It is our role to appoint agents, clerks, physicians, professionals who we need to have a functioning Board of Health. I brought to the attention that the way the Board of Health money is accounted for is inappropriate, if not wrong, it's inappropriate. Funds, this is a pay-as-you-go service, meaning if we don't do anything unless someone asks us to do something, our fees are set to pay for the support we require. That it's our responsibility to make sure that is the case, and that is how we operate. The way the accounting is set up on this, fees come into the town for people paying for a service from the Board of Health, and those fees are then moved into the general funds. They are not retained in the Board of Health to pay for the services necessary to provide that support. On top of that, presumably your group or the administrator acting on her own, I don't know how this happens, cut the health agent budget by 50% at the last town meeting, the last warrant, by 50%, with no involvement by the Board of Health, no prior discussion, no invitation to comment on how the Board of Health is functioning and what it needs to provide services to the town. So I'm going to stop there, but my feeling is this whole inquiry that has been proceeding now for months is completely out of line, completely out of line. You either do not understand how the Board of Health functions and should function, or you have a vendetta of some sort against the Board of Health, maybe personally against me or personally against Judy. I just don't understand the motivation of these discussions, because it's the practical matters here. When you have installers working in town that argue with you because they are not providing inspection records of their work and demand certificates of compliance without inspection records, I don't think it's the Board of Health's job to provide that certificate of compliance. When you have a health director who's supposed to be cooperating, who tells you in an email, please describe to me the situation for which you need my support. So, because I am very busy, he's so busy, please provide it to me so that I can prepare for this conversation. And prior to that, I've consulted with the lawyer of Massachusetts Associated Health Boards to see if I was doing something wrong. And she said, no, you are not, but you should involve the other people supporting you. So I contacted Francis Daigle, requested his support, and he replied in an email saying, write it down, send me what you need to discuss. I am very busy, too busy to react. I need to see what you're talking about. So complying to his request, providing him great detail on what the matter was so he could be prepared, so we could have an effective call, I get a response of retaliation. That's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. and I'm assuming you don't have full exposure to the situation. But it's unbelievable to me, and it's unbelievable to me that your first line of action is to call a meeting to bring everyone together when we haven't even suggested reviewing the concerns you've recently said in a meeting with your Board of Health. That is unbelievable. So that's where I'm going to stop. This is clearly a problem. It's a clearly administrative problem. It's a problem that involves lack of knowledge. It's a problem with not enough people operating at the same level of understanding. And it's a big problem with the town administration not supporting the Board of Health, period.
Thank you, Stan. Certainly understand your concerns, and I want to sort of speak to the meeting where this came up initially that you referred to, and it was not the intent of the board to discuss it at that point, but one of your fellow board members was in the meeting and pursued the conversation. And so it wasn't the intent to pursue it at that time. It did come up. It was only for the administrator it was in the administrator's report to the board. And so I understand how you feel, and I understand the concern. So what I would suggest then, I think it makes sense at some point to meet with the coalition to discuss your concerns. And prior to that happening, as I was saying, I asked Nicole to forward you the correspondence and then to have a conversation about the correspondence and then meet with Lester. I think your concerns, bullet pointed concerns, should go to Lester. They should be aware of what the concerns are with the agreement. And perhaps there is some way to make this work so that you do get the support that you need. That would be the goal, obviously. We don't like to see, as you likely don't like to see, these issues or concerns raised. But the matter of fact is that anyone in a public office is going to have these things come through. If someone doesn't like what your position is or doesn't like your approach. Very often, very few, and I think that's we're seeing more of that. Is there approval or applause for a job well done in any of these situations? So I would ask that, as I mentioned, Nicole forward the correspondence to you and to the board so that you can see what's come before us, and let's try to come up with a resolution where there is some support for what you need, but they're also meeting what has been spelled out in the agreements that were signed. That's where I'm coming from this standpoint, Stan.
Yeah. So just two brief comments with what you just said. First of all, the fact that meeting we're referring to in October continued on when it was not your intent to discuss it, I appreciate that, but it's not the fact that it continued on as the issue. The fact that's the issue is things that were said were slanderous and defamatory and have no backing. So that's the point. Second is that you have received our input. I think if you would like to speak to Lester, you should. At this time, though, I don't have any more conversations to have with Lester. I don't have personally an interest. I don't have the time or the energy to continue working around and talking around behaviors and actions that are not in line with our purpose and mission for the Board of Health in Hardwick. And this is not going to be the first meeting if that happens. We've already had this meeting with Judy and I and Francis and Nicole once already. And the topic was exactly the same.
Excuse me.
And the agreement of how to proceed was what we would all agree was appropriate. And yet, you know what? Here we are again. So I think if you all need to learn more about Lester and how it functions, about the agreement that you entered into, I think you should take the time to do that however you will. And I will provide you information and opinions as I always do, and I will try to prepare professionally as we tried to do for this meeting. But I don't know what more to say. They are not a board of health. They are a staff that is willing to provide services paid for by a grant, and they've offered those services to towns if they want to use them. Most towns do not use them to the extent that Hardwick tried to. Most towns take that a la carte for a food inspection or for a Title V project, but they don't lean on them or lean into them as heavy as we did. When we started this, Judy and I were very new to the board. Tex actually, he was a great contributor, and he's not with us, so you're going to have to take my word on this. He was very skeptical of entering into this. And we pursued ahead anyways because we knew Tex was also not going to be working on the board much longer. And we needed, Judy and I were new, we needed to come up to speed, and we thought we needed this help. Well, we've learned how the Board of Health's function, how the laws function. We've met people, and we have an outstanding health agent working for us right now, Rich Stevens from Barry. Incredible amount of experience that he contributes to our learning, and he has a network he's extended to us to access. And we don't really require the support that Lester offers theoretically and what they actually deliver. We don't require it, and it's not actually helping us a great deal. It's holding us back from developing as a Board of Health.
So Stan, Judy has her hand up. So I would say to you, Stan, perhaps Kelly and Rob, are you okay with, first of all, Nicole, please send those letters to, I did not realize Stan was not copied on those. So please make sure that they have all the correspondence. I would make the suggestion that we meet with Lester and see, and I mean, I think your document, I honestly, it came late, Stan, so I too
I understand.
Didn't have a chance. No, and I'm not criticizing. I'm just making a comment.
No, I understand.
That I didn't have a chance to review it. So why don't we take your letter signed by yourself and Judy under advisement. I will work with Nicole. She'll make sure she gets you the documents, the two pieces of, I think the two that came to us that you didn't receive. I will circle forward with Lester and also be in touch with some of the other communities that are under the coalition and see how they function. Understanding how you're functioning and see what services, how they're interacting with them. And then let's revisit the issue. So I guess let's do some more information, do some more research and discussion. And then if we feel the board feels the need to meet with Lester, we will. We certainly would like you to be part of that because if there is some value there, if they can provide some value, maybe it's I'm not sure. I just hate to scrap this whole thing. There's got to be some value there for you, I would think, and if we can make it work. But let's do a little bit more research and certainly willing to talk with you or Judy and sort of talk about these letters that have been received. And
if the spirit of interaction continues the way it has been for months, and I'm including our own administration, if it continues that way, then the Board of Health is just going to do what it needs to do to be compliant and to do the job. But the interactions that are becoming contentious and interfering, we're just going to have to find a way to not participate in those. That just can't continue.
Well, I'm not. There shouldn't be an adversarial. I don't want there to be an adversarial relationship with this board. I mean, we should all be able to work together. And understanding loud and clear what you said, and loud and clear your position on it. And I apologize it went that way, the first way. That wasn't the intent, but understand how you feel. I mean, I'm trying to build a bridge here, Stan, to try to make it work so that you don't feel unsupported. The board doesn't feel unsupported. I'm doing the best at trying to bridge that.
Yeah, I would offer a suggestion, please, it's just a suggestion. Don't worry about bridging. Pay attention to what we said, what we feel the mission of the Board of Health is, and find if you want to get behind that.
Thank you, Stan. Judy, did you want to say something? And then we'll move on from this issue.
Yes, I want to be extremely brief. I think it's a matter of loyalties in the town of Hardwick to their own. And I think that we have been second rate in considering our relationship with an outside group that is neither a Board of Health or it's not even close to us. And in terms of the theory of our government, the Board of Health has particular powers to preserve and protect the health of the people of the town they're in. There are few other states in the United States that have every local Board of Health for every town has strong powers, and this regional concept goes counter to those powers. And personally speaking, I have been unable to function because of the noxious interactions between us and Lester. And I think the first act of the select board would be to talk to the Board of Health. And I'm an old psych nurse, so that's the way. Communication is the best way to look at any problems. As far as the problems themselves, Stan and I have already addressed them and put them before you today. So that's it.
Thank you, Judy.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing. We are poised to do great things for the town of Hardwick when it comes to health, to make sustainable agriculture among the people that farm and work here, to preserve our forests from destruction and cutting that we've seen of late, and to preserve our water from others despoiling it and coming in and stealing our resources by development and processes that are found to be destructive of ecosystems. So I'm working on a theoretical level. I've been studying public health since this began, since I began, and I'm halfway through my tenure, and I don't intend to run again because I'm 82 years old. But I can tell you it's so exciting where we can go. And I suggest that we not spend time reviewing and researching and meeting with all the parties. As Stan said, we've already done it. That we can provide a Board of Health and all the services and do it great. I have no qualms about that on our own because of the powers that are invested in boards of health. So I'm very hopeful. That's it. You're welcome.
Thank you, Judy. So I think the reason, and we did try to have a meeting, we did ask to have a meeting with the board one time prior, but I think that was on the heels of the October meeting, Stan, and I think there was
Very unfriendly time.
probably not some clarity, and I hear you loud and clear. I think the board's perspective in looking at it is certainly to be supportive, but also we've signed an agreement, so we have a binding agreement with the coalition, and that's sort of my.
More important, Julie, I'm sorry for interrupting, but more important, you signed an intent. Now, that intent by your own actions has not been upheld. So, the intent is the basis of the whole exercise, and the agreement that you call binding is constructed with a mutual 30-day exit. There's no more binding than 30 days.
I'm not suggesting it's binding, Stan, or what the legality of it is, but I think we've signed something that we just have to be sure if the board, whatever way the board decides on this, that we understand what our responsibilities are. So I guess Kelly and Rob, any thoughts on this? But here's how I would make the suggestion we proceed. Just to reiterate, Nicole, they need the documents that we've received. Any other documents that come in, can we please make sure they're copied on them if they aren't CC'd on it? And we will reach out to other communities under the coalition so we can gather some more information on how they're functioning. We will get advice on the agreement we've signed, and we can revisit this issue at a future meeting. And if we hear loud and clear that you don't want to be involved with a meeting with the coalition or Lester or whoever it is that we need to meet with, and who the appropriate people on their end are, hear loud and clear that you don't want to be involved, we can move forward with a representative from our board and meet with them. And if it's appropriate, we can share your concerns, and we will be back to the subject. Kelly and Rob, does that sound okay? Nicole?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think that if there are concerns, regardless, I think we should express them to Lester. If they're not doing what they should be doing, that is a concern.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree, Kelly, and I think our Board of Health in some way should be involved with a discussion in Lester so that we don't get the facts mixed up. I understand we were written a couple letters, one from each person, but it only tells a small portion of what's going on there. And I'm sorry, it's one of those things sometimes you just have to do. You have to stand up for yourself, and if Stan is correct and his actions are true, which I don't know. I don't know what's truly going on out there. I know there's some complaints and there's some issues, but I believe that Stan should be part of this and stand up for what he believes he's doing correctly, and let us understand between the two of them where the issue is. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're trying to listen. We're trying to be supportive, but
I appreciate that, Rob. I just want to. I have to share. I'm getting exhausted by defending myself for enforcing the health code, Mass General laws, acting as a Board of Health that requires standards to be met, Title V compliance, and people just not enjoying that. And I'm sorry if they don't enjoy it. And I don't think we've been unreasonable in working with anyone to work through problems that arise that then require attention to get to the point where compliance is achieved. That's a primary function of the board operating to address the uncomfortable situation stop what shouldn't be happening and proceed to closure that brings everything in compliance. Bottom line, that's what it kind of is about. And so my concern is that maybe some people aren't used to that. Maybe other people just don't want to be in that situation and they find it uncomfortable. But it doesn't change the purpose of the Board of Health and what we're supposed to be doing. So I encourage you to find out what you need to find to understand the situations. I'm quite confident that when you're ready, there's not a problem, I feel, with our position and our behaviors. Not maybe, to quote Judy in a way, we're not maybe winning a popularity contest, but I don't think we're doing things wrong.
Thank you. So we will follow up and we will revisit the issue after we've sort of gone through the steps that I've outlined. Thank you both for being on the meeting and for speaking. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else on the Lester contract? Okay. Next item on the agenda is Great Meadowbrook Farm, discussion of Chairwoman Quink's General Law, Chapter 268A, Section 223B3 disclosure form. Have you both received a copy of the disclosure form?
I have.
Rob?
Yes. Sorry, I was on mute. Yes.
Oh, that's okay. So I'm quickly going to read the disclosure, which is on file with the town clerk. It's as I said, a disclosure of appearance of conflict of interest as required by General Law, Chapter 268A, Section 23B3. In my position as Chair Board of the Selectmen for the town of Hardwick, the issue is, the disclosure is public information. I'm Chair of the Hardwick Board of Selectmen, as described in more detail below. I oversaw the public hearing process for an application filed by Commonwealth Equine and Agricultural Center, LLC. I will just refer to them as SEAC going forward, seeking approval of horse racing track at the Great Meadowbrook Farm property pursuant to General Law, Chapter 128A, Section 13A. SEAC applied to the Hardwick Board of Selectmen for approval of the location of a horse racing track at the Great Meadowbrook Farm property at 228 Berry Road. In my role as Chair of the Board of Selectmen, I oversaw the public hearing process for this application. After the close of the public hearing, I ultimately voted to approve the location of the horse race track on or about November 9th, 2022. Based on the statutory procedures in General Law, Chapter 128A, Section 13A, the question of whether to approve the location of a horse race track at the Great Meadowbrook property will be subject to a townwide special election ballot question on January 7, 2023. After the close of the aforementioned public hearing process before the Board of Selectmen and all votes that I took related thereto, SEAC applied to the Quabog Hills Chamber of Commerce to become a member. I am the Treasurer, Financial Liaison, and a board member of the Quabog Hills Chamber of Commerce. I've been involved with the Chamber as a board member since November of 2005. During my time on the board, I've served as chairperson twice and had various other responsibilities. Hardwick is one of the 15 towns that is served by the Chamber. At no time while I oversaw the Board of Selectmen public hearing process was I aware that SEAC intended to apply to be a member of the Chamber. Recently, after the close of the Board of Selectmen's public hearing and any voting related thereto, the Executive Committee for the Chamber, of which I'm a member, admitted SEAC as a member of the Chamber. The proposal to admit SEAC as a member came from the Chamber CEO. I played no role in the decision to admit SEAC as a member. In addition, I understand that SEAC asked to be involved as a sponsor for the Chamber's annual dinner in December, but that the Executive Committee voted to deny their sponsorship. I abstained from that vote. As a member of the Executive Committee, we're tasked with reviewing new members and taking action relative thereto, approval and declination of new members. I'm responsible for the approval of the new members' membership in the Chamber's software and the related accounting for payments and billing. The approval of the membership is done with Executive Committee approval. I have abstained from all votes relative to SEAC's membership in the Chamber. In addition, I've abstained from any votes approval on SEAC's sponsorship or involvement with the dinner. At the direction of the President of the Board, after a successful vote to admit SEAC as a member, I handled the administrative end of including SEAC as a new member in the software used by the chamber. This is the same process I do for each new member after they are approved. I've had no contact with them relative to the membership approval or processing. I'm not required to have contact with SEAC in my capacity as a member of the board of the Chamber of Commerce or in any administrative functions I perform. In addition, I'll not be attending the annual dinner or any other forums event that SEAC is sponsoring or holding as a member of the Chamber prior to the vote of the town on January 7, 2023, or at any time thereafter while review of any of SEAC's permit applications is required by any municipal boards of the town of Hardwick. To the extent that SEAC may file an application before the Board of Selectmen in future, I intend to consider each application on its merits and take such action as in the best interest of the town and in full compliance with the law. My position on the board of the chamber, which has several hundred members, of which SEAC is one, will not impair my ability to objectively and fairly carry on my duties as the chair of the Board of Selectmen. Rob or Kelly, any questions or concerns on my disclosure? You're muted, Kelly.
No, I did read it thoroughly and appreciate the disclosure.
Thank you. I'm all set with it.
There is a question. I will entertain the question if it is respectful and concerning any of the facts that were mentioned. Lauren? Lauren, do you have a question? She doesn't appear to be muted. Nicole?
She's not muted. I'm looking for her.
Lauren, do you want to put your question in the chat since we can't hear you?
Looks like the chat was disabled.
Nicole, can you reinstate the chat?
Yep.
So as Lauren, if you want to type your question in the chat, since we can't hear you. So again, the disclosure is filed on with the town clerk. As I said in my disclosure, I believe that I can act fairly and independently. My involvement with the chamber should have no impact on moving the process forward. Lauren, we'll come back to you if you want to type. You still have your hand
She
up.
wrote her question in. Oh, it looks like it's to me. She wrote it to me. Okay. What is the process for a business being accepted into the chamber? I know that is outside of your scope of work on this board. Just curious.
I think that would be a question that you probably should ask of the chamber president and the CEO. It's, as I mentioned in my disclosure, it's an approval process that happens through that group, the executive committee of which I'm a member. And as I mentioned, I have abstained from all votes relative to this situation. Certainly, you can feel free to, if you want to reach out to Nicole, I can have Nicole give you the contact information on who you might reach out to directly to inquire. Okay. So let's move on from that. Any other new business? Okay. Next is the water warrant December billing. Kelly and Rob, did you have a chance to look at that in your packet?
Did.
Any questions on that or anything that, any edits or?
I just had just for my memory's sake, did we vote to increase the rates yet?
No,
No, so these are not, this is
they're
being
still 0.0125, supposed to be per gallon, but we're actually charging per cubic foot, so. Have
And
not
that will-
voted yet.
we're gonna revisit that once the equipment and once we start doing all that, right? Correct?
Yes, the meters have been ordered.
Okay. I'm just, thinking it would have been nice maybe to have revisited that before these bills went out. So it should probably be on our radar sooner than later for the next.
Okay.
Agreed.
Yeah, I guess I thought maybe we would do that before the billing went out.
Well, I did have to send the billing out, so.
Totally understandable.
Yeah. But I'll get that more on my front burner here, looking at the rates. I know Angie already did she surveyed a lot of towns already.
Okay. Yeah, it'd probably be good to maybe the beginning of the year. I'm not looking to add any more for the remainder of December, but.
So, we need to approve the water warrant for December, in the amount of $7,910.32.
I would make a motion to approve the water warrant billing in the amount of $7,910.32 per the attachment of all the users.
Second that.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Kelly,
Aye.
Rob,
Aye.
and Julie is aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
I have the actual warrant that needs to be signed. I don't know if we could either authorize me or if you could come in.
I can stop down tomorrow.
You need 2 signatures, Nicole?
Yes.
I can try to get there and sign. If I'm not able to get there, I'll just call you and authorize you to sign on my behalf.
Okay. I can always bring to you too, whatever you think.
Okay. Rob, did you want to say something?
No,
Okay.
I'll try to get down and sign it. Maybe tomorrow night.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the 2022 audit and update on the 2023 audit. Do we have
Yes.
the audit report, Nicole, for the 2022 audit?
I asked for it digitally, and I've only got it so far in book form. So I only have it physical. So if you want to look in the box when you come in the mailbox, I can put them there.
Can they give us electronic copies?
They did not. I asked them for it, and I'm waiting for it.
Okay.
So
I think once the board's had a chance to review it, since it is a public document, that we should have copies electronically available. So if we can get it electronically, that would be great.
yeah, I asked for it to give to you guys, but I just got these on Thursday afternoon, so they haven't responded. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to contact them again. So that one's here. Look, so that's great. And then the next one should be done definitely by the end of the year. The auditors are coming in this week, so is the accountant. And they've got almost everything because it's been submitted throughout the year, knowing that we had to get this audit done by the end of the year. So everything's looking good.
Thank you. And ultimately, I'm sorry. Zoom is so hard. Zoom is
Sorry.
hard because it's hard to know when to speak and when someone's finished. So I apologize. It would be good if we could get them. Bless you. It would be good if we could get the auditors to come before the Board of Selectmen, so that once we've had the opportunity to review the report. Typically in these situations, there's an exit interview that happens with the Board of Governance. So if they could come to perhaps one of our meetings in January and review the 2022 audit, and presumably they'll have a draft or a final that we could review for so it would be the 2021 that they've done, because we've just finished June 30th, 22. So that would be the 22 audit that we're looking at, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 21, 22. July of 22.
So we would have
sorry, you're stuck. But yes, it's July of 22 should be done by the end of this year. Yes. I mean, June 30, 2022.
Okay, great. So maybe we can put that on a future agenda when it's set. Kelly or Rob, anything more on that? No? Okay. Next on the agenda, committee appointment procedure. I know that there are folks who are interested in volunteering on various committees, and I know some folks have reached out already, and just wanted to put it on the agenda so that if, for those folks that are interested in being involved on a committee or a board, that we sort of talk about what the procedure should be so everyone's aware. And I guess my thought would be, Kelly and Rob, is that there's a letter of interest that goes to the town administrator, and she brings that forward just as she does for other appointments and such for the board to appoint to a particular committee. I know there's some interest in the master planning committee, and just sort of making sure that we're addressing those and getting back to the folks that are interested in letting them know that we're, we'll take it under advisement and consider the appointment. Nicole, have you received other letters of interest for other committees?
If not.
Okay. I know we have someone who is interested in joining the master planning committee. We do have a vacancy on that committee. There's a letter, or there was an email request that came in from Lisa Condit to be appointed to the master planning committee. Kelly and Rob, and Nicole confirmed we have a vacancy. Kelly and Rob, are you prepared to appoint Lisa to the master planning committee, or do we want to take it under advisement and address it at the next meeting?
It's my belief that she would make a great addition to that committee. The committee has not met in several years, and she wants to bring that back and have some serious conversation about the town's master plan. She has an extensive background in marketing. That's what she does, for her everyday job, and she's volunteered throughout the years within the town as well. So I would be willing to make an appointment, but it's a board decision.
Nicole, are we prepared with I'm sorry, what? Are we prepared with the term of what that appointment would be for? How long? I know there was some confusion on the staggered dates of the terms. Maybe if we're not prepared to make the official.
There's 2 vacancies. One is up in 2023. One's up in 2024.
So that would be a June 30th of each year.
So why don't we make the appointment for do we want to make the appointment for the 2023 with the thought that perhaps the committee would meet, and we did appoint them at our annual appointment so that the committee would meet, and those that aren't interested in still being on the committee, we would be able to consider other letters of interest if there is anybody. Does that work?
I think that's a good place to start. I think if people are reaching out to volunteer, we certainly, I think we should welcome them. And, giving like this one, this position would just be through, June 30th. It gives, like you said, the chance for the committee to meet and, maybe light some fires. Metaphorically, that is.
Rob?
Yeah, I mean, these seats are empty, so if someone's willing to do it, I say let's put them on. From somewhere.
Okay.
Oh my God, you're still here? Yeah.
Okay. So procedurally, those that are interested in being in committees or boards, please submit a letter of interest to Nicole. We can, I see a comment in the chat about what the open positions are. We can certainly put those together for a future meeting.
They are typically on the town website.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah.
When the town census goes out at the beginning of the year, the town clerk typically inserts them in that as well.
And so look there if you're interested in any particular vacancies on boards and committees, and we certainly can entertain letters of interest, and as they come in, point to vacant positions. There's a question in the chat relative to replacing people who don't respond. If the committee isn't meeting regularly, it's hard to understand who's not interested and who's going to. So I think for these committees like the Master Planning Committee, who haven't met in a long time, calling a meeting and figuring out who is still wanting to be involved. We've reappointed them, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be active. So I think once there is some interest in these committees start meeting again, we'll know if there are future vacancies that we can seek letters of interest for. Hopefully that answers the question. So again, recap, get your letter of interest into Nicole, look for vacancies on the town website. And as Kelly mentioned, please answer your census surveys, and the town clerk will forward those to us so that we'll know to follow up. Anything else on the committee appointments? So let's actually, are we prepared to appoint Lisa to one of the vacant positions on the Master Planning Committee?
I would love to.
So
go ahead.
Have at it.
Okay, I would make a motion to appoint Lisa Condit to, I want to make sure I'm saying it right, the Master Committee Plan? Am I saying that correctly?
Master Plan Community Development Advisory Committee.
Got it right here. Okay, I would make a motion to appoint Lisa Condit to the Master Plan Community Development Advisory Committee for the term that would end June 30th, 2023.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Kelly?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
And Julie is an aye. So motion carries. Nicole, can you please reach out to Lisa and let her know of her appointment and ask her to go before the town clerk can be sworn in?
Yes, if I could just add too that when Ryan and I were talking about how people go about and requesting to be on a board or a committee, that they send a formal letter in, and then they also list, maybe some experience on why they think they would be best fit for this position. Just thinking that there may be more than one that would be interested, so we would be able to place them where they're best fit. Or if we have somebody who has a lot of experience in municipal government, and then somebody that doesn't, maybe they would be a better fit for a master plan committee, which is a severe undertaking.
I think that's a great suggestion. Okay. The next item, anything else with regard to that before we move on? Okay. Discussion and or vote relative to ARPA funding. I think that's just a placeholder, Nicole. I don't think we have anything else to talk about. Okay. Committee reports. We have just a couple of things to mention, and it might be in your report, Nicole. So if I'm stealing your thunder, I apologize. We have oh boy, my paperwork is all mixed up. We have a report from the fire department. Just a reminder that December 18th at 11 a.m., the fire department is going to be having a Santa ride on the fire truck around the Common to Wheelwright and then through Gilbertville. Burning permits are available. You can get them at the fire station Monday or Wednesday night after 6:30. Anything else on committee reports? I think that was the only report I saw, Nicole.
It is, and he just formally came in. I mean, verbally came in and told us this last week. Tomorrow is supposed to be the department head meeting, so I don't have any reports.
I missed part of that, so I'm going to turn my video off because I'm having internet issues. I missed what you said, but I
just said he came in verbally.
Okay.
To let us know. I don't have any other department head reports. Tomorrow is our meeting.
Great, thank you. Next, we're on to the town administrator report.
Okay, so I start with USDA. The new location for pump station environmental review is nearly complete. Endangered species review ends today, actually, and I haven't heard anything. So I'm thinking that the review period will close and we will move forward. We're working on the easement documents and the language with our engineering firm and our attorneys, and a survey team, because we're getting a partial survey. They were out last week, the surveyors, so that's moving along. And we're also working on rates and betterments with RCAP. Hopefully we'll have them soon. We do have to have a town meeting for it, so that's really what we want. It's sort of going in conjunction with proceeding. USDA wants us to have basically that in place before we really start construction. I don't know how feasible that is, but they're very understanding. USDA has been extremely understanding, and even today I called them, because this is not in my report, but it was just because today I called. We have the bond anticipation note due. I think it was in March or April, but it was about $72,000, and just to be able to renew it. And USDA has given me the go ahead to use the state funding that we have to actually get rid of our debt. So once these are coming due, we are getting rid of them with the funding that we have in place right now. So that's really exciting because we won't have any debt that we pay interest on. So anyway, I was really excited to hear that. The 2021 audit is complete. We just went over that. And we set up an email where people can submit questions and comments and information regarding the proposed horse track location. It is horseracinginfo@townofhardwick.com. It's on our website, on Facebook, and the Ware River News and the Gazette. And I'm hoping to get it out onto the radio, which brings me to my next point. I was approached by Ware 97.7. Nope, not Ware. WARE, right? 97.7. And I used to do this in my last town. One Wednesday a month, they would have town manager / administrator in the morning to kind of let everybody know what's going on in the community. And okay, I'm getting distracted by the chat again. So I have been approached by them at the station to go on. It doesn't necessarily have to be on a Wednesday morning when the other administrators and managers are on, but it can, they asked me to come on today, but I obviously needed to get my permission from you guys first. So I didn't get back to them yet on getting on there, but I think that it's a great idea for us to get all kinds of information out there, you know, for everything that's going on in the town, whether it's something contentious or something good, new business or something like that. You know, I think it's just kind of another platform to get information out there. So, with your permission, I would like to go on to the radio occasionally and kind of update, because I know that there are Hardwick residents that listen. I didn't at first, because when I was listening to it and I got into Gilbertville, I lost service. I lost the radio station, but I apparently you can still listen on the AM station, and they do have a big following from Hardwick. So I think it would be a good idea for me to go on there and let people know what's going on. What do you guys think?
So I would just ask that people in the chat be respectful, please. I understand we all have our opinions about things, but please be respectful.
Can we shut the chat off again? I think this is like speaking out at a meeting. I think we should just shut it off when it's not needed. But it's my personal opinion.
I agree.
Okay, Nicole, can you please shut it off? If you want to say something, please feel free to raise your hand, and the chair will recognize you. So I guess, as I've said several times, I don't have an issue with it as long as it's fact based. I'll just be blunt. I don't want it to be a forum for horse racing discussions. I want it to be, and I'd like it to be positive about what's positive happening in Hardwick. The poinsettia deliveries, which was huge and a great spirit builder for a lot of people in town, me included, and all of the positive things, the grants we're applying for, all of that kind of stuff. I would really not want the horse race discussion to monopolize the conversation, although you might be led in that direction. I don't know if you will or won't. I think that WARE is very fair and news informative. So, but I think it would really be a way to highlight all the positive things that are happening in Hardwick. I'm all for it as long as it's fact based.
I would definitely have to second that. To be honest, when I first read your report, I went, oh God, I'm not going to lie, because I had a reporter from the TNG call me this afternoon, and I just kindly said I would call her back. That's probably not going to happen. But at any rate, because you do get sucked into things. And I think right now with everything, some of the things that are going on, I would not want it to be spun that way either. I completely agree with Julie. If it's simply, things that are happening in town, functions that are happening in town, then, again, I'd be fine with that. But I think it's a fine line that needs to be walked.
Rob, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Nicole knows she needs to be careful. I would hope. Again, we just got to be careful using your judgment on walking into the sun of things that aren't resolved in the community. But I mean, it's really your decision how you want to handle some of the questions.
So why don't we do it this way? Why don't we do it on a trial basis? See how it goes, and if it's something that's positive and is such, provides positivity for the community, I'd say it continues. But let's do it on let's see how it goes. We also don't want you to be in a situation where you're put in an uncomfortable situation with questions or such. So why don't we give it a try, and happy to listen in when it happens. And for that matter, I mean, if there's other messages that we can get out through that avenue, I mean, we're always looking to be transparent and put as much information as we can out there about what's happening in the town. It would be a great way for us around Hardwick Fair time to highlight the Hardwick Fair and really provide positive things. So I would say let's try it on a test basis and see how it goes.
I would agree with that. Like, just looking at some of the things in the new news on Nicole's report, like these would be great things, like the whistle stop and the Friends of the Stone Church, you know, the winery celebrating their anniversary. Like, those are great things. My concern is more for how the questions that may be posed, I guess. So I agree with that. Let's see how it goes.
Can I respond, Julie?
I think she's frozen again.
Oh. Loser? Oh no.
No, she's down there. No, she's still. But
Okay. She said she was kicked off.
oh,
I just put her in the waiting room and hopefully bringing her back.
I see her again.
I'm so sorry. Technology is frustrating, so I missed half of that. So I apologize.
I think Kelly just agreed with you that it should be done on a trial basis. And if I could just maybe explain a little further that I did do this in my last town, and it was always, things mostly good that's going on. I didn't talk about the things that weren't so great. I'm glad to hear, Rob, thank you, and that you have confidence that I know when and what to say as far as an open forum like that. Typically, it's 15 minutes, so it's 8:45 to 9. And it's just like the town manager, town administrator minute. And he says, "What do you want to say?" I'll tell him what I'm going to talk about, and he'll tell me a question that he'll ask about it, and then that'll be done. And I've been looking to do this way before the horse race track came. And honestly, I thought about this when we got all of the money back from USDA. I was really excited about it, and I wanted everybody to know that we were back on track. So I thought, and I was listening to it one day, and then I lost service, like I said, when I got into Gilbertville. But now that I know that more people listen to it. Even my assistant listens to it, and I thought it would maybe be a different dynamic that would listen to it. But I think that, again, that's exactly what I would talk about. Kelly, the things that are in my report right now are exactly what I would be letting the community know. All of these great things that are happening. I think Hardwick has a lot of great things going on, and I think that it would be definitely a highlight. So with that, I will let you know when I go on, and if you want to listen in, it'll be 8:45 in the morning, whatever day that happens. That I do represent Hardwick. That is literally my job, and I feel like I do it to the best of my ability. I don't have to live here. This is my career, and this is what I am hired to do: is to support Hardwick, the entire town of Hardwick, and only Hardwick. And so, just want to let everybody know that that is what I do. So moving on then.
So just a comment, Nicole. We believe that you'll do the best for the town. Please don't take that as a criticism. It's a commentary on we've all been put in situations as of late where we've been questioned on things, even in the most innocent situation as delivering poinsettias. So just want you to be feel supported, and just know that, you know, in the spirit of being fact-based, we know you can handle that. Judy has her hand up, so let's get through Nicole's report, Judy, and then we can get back to your question if that's okay, just so we can keep going through the report.
Okay, so the streetlights. I've been approached by some residents in town that they have streetlights out here, streetlights out there. So I reached out to our national grid liaison, and she's looking into it right now to see exactly. Well, I said, can you shed some light, no pun intended, on why some lights are out, and that we would probably like to see them on. So she's getting back to me. So if anybody has any streetlights out that maybe I'm not aware of, I know there's a lot in Gilbertville, some on Hardwick Road. So if there's something near your home that you would like me to address, please let me know. You can call me or email me. And then I was looking at the Ware River News, and there were some really great things that were on the front page, really, of the paper. So I thought I would highlight it here. Joe's Jackets is kids' winter clothing. They served over 400 people last year. And now they're just doing children because they were overwhelmed. So you can contact Joe's Jackets at gmail.com to see how you can help or donate. The Hardwick Winery is celebrating 25 years of business. So congratulations to the Samick family and all the staff there and the great things that they do and the people they attract to our town. Friends of the Stone Church hosted Buck and Beyond, and they have many events constantly. You can contact friendsofthestonechurch.org for more information. Whistle Stop has their certificate of occupancy. They got it at the end of last week, so they should be having a soft opening soon. So keep your eyes peeled for cars in the driveway. I don't think they want to have a big grand opening right now, but they're working on getting all their food in. They've hired their staff. They want to expand already. They want to bring a car in and have dinners, and then they'll use this car to do some sort of holiday rides up and down this track here, right here in Gilbertville, going to Barrie. So there's a lot of fun things happening, I think. And the planning board is holding a public hearing for a Class 2 located at 435 Lower Road on December 13th, and we'll need to be holding a public hearing too as well for a Class 2 license. But I haven't been approached by them. I was just noticed that the planning board is having a meeting. And then
Nicole, can you just clarify for the record what a Class 2 license is, just so people?
It's used car license.
Thank you.
So the planning board is going to approve not the license, but a site plan. I think they waived it, but they're going to do their approval. And I was noticed. Well, all of the boards were noticed, so I'll be looking for that. We'll be having to have that. And then I have ongoing things that just aren't fully completed yet. I don't know if you want me to go over this. This is something that we have. They're ongoing, but I guess I will say something about the town hall. I sent an email on Friday by the reconstruction team and an email today by our insurance company that we will be getting a check soon. And so I know he was having problems getting a flooring company to come in. I asked around and gave him some local names. I just was afraid I lost you again, Julie. So that should be happening soon. Hopefully we'll have our town hall back and everybody will be back in their own space before too long, because it's definitely cramped and crowded and it's a disaster. So we're all looking forward to that happening. And so I don't know that you want me to go over any of the stuff that's ongoing, if you guys read it, or
unless Kelly or Rob have any questions. And just just making sure that your town administrator report gets uploaded to the website, so anybody has the ability to look at what we're talking about. Kelly or Rob, any questions on any ongoing items?
I don't have any questions. I've read it.
I'm all set. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you. Sorry about my internet. Anything for signatures and approvals that you need for us, Nicole?
I actually need one signature from you. The Conservation Commission had some things that needed to be sent out certified, so I paid for it. So I can't sign for myself. So I just need you to sign. It's the $30 reimbursement, but I'll leave it in the box, I guess, for whenever you're around.
Can you just email it to me and I can certainly sign it?
Oh yeah, sure. Sure.
Okay.
We
And
still
I'll
have
get that
hands
done.
up. I don't.
Yep, I'll handle that. I just want to make sure there's
Okay.
nothing we need to do. Is there anything in the Selectmen's roundtable that we want to address? So Nicole, there was some mention of an event for the town employees. Is that still happening December 8th?
Yes, we're having a little potluck for holiday
Where is that happening?
here.
Okay.
We're gonna be standing around.
Okay. So Kelly and Rob, any issue with the board sending something for the employees for their potluck?
Not at all.
Okay, so I'll coordinate that.
That would be great. Just let us know what you need.
Is that okay, Rob?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Let me know what you need.
I'm on it. Thank you. I just wanted to say in the Selectmen Roundtable, huge shout out to Kelly for doing the poinsettias. I'll be honest, in a time where I'm feeling sort of beaten down a little bit, and maybe some of the other board members are, and maybe some of you are on the Zoom also, as well as Nicole. Having the ability to deliver poinsettias is a definite bright spot, and thank you to Kelly for continuing that tradition. I will tell you, I did go to Joan, Ralph's widow, and delivered a poinsettia, and I've been delivering every year since you've been doing it. And I hear the story, and she is so happy that the town is sort of carrying on Ralph's legacy. So kudos to you. And also, you know, in terms of Christmas on the Common and sort of moving that forward, it'd be really nice to see if we can get a lot more participation in that going forward. So Nicole, can we put that on our radar and figure out, you know, how we support those organizations that are doing it, and see if we can attract more organizations to make it a bigger, it's such a positive for the town, and it's such a good thing that happens. So thank you to Kelly, and it was a good day. So we do have a couple hands up. Oh, Kelly, did you want to say something?
Well, I just want to add that I want to thank everyone. We had 25 volunteers for deliveries, and over 27 donations came in this year. And in the past, I've closed that gap. And this year, we have extra funds, over $500, to put towards next year's poinsettia deliveries. So thank you, everyone. Like, I really truly mean that, because that's one of the happy things that I love to do.
Me too. I think it's great. So thank you for doing all you do, Kelly, and a huge shout out to Mimi's too, and for the cookie sale and everybody who participated. I think that's what makes Hardwick a good place. So sorry, Rob, did I cut you off?
No, you didn't cut me off. But you're cutting out a lot. So.
It's a crazy internet world here. So we do have two hands up. We have Judy and Lauren. Again, not sure what your comments are in relation to, but we just ask if you're respectful about it. We do want to we've been on this for a little bit, so we do want to wrap up the meeting. But if you have something that you want to say that's contribute to the meeting, happy to quickly hear that before I call for a motion to adjourn. Judy?
Yeah, thank you very much. Number one, I want to give a shout out also to a couple other people that did some great work, like maybe Liz Riley, who did the food bank for the Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. I know personally I made 30 pies that went out to Jimmy Ayott's for his less fortunate group, and another 27 that went out to the food bank, so they could have fresh pies. And my grandson came in from New York to make that happen. So I just, it's really a little upsetting
that we're a little self-serving here, that we don't look at what the rest of the town is doing to participate in what's, what we're doing for this town. So while I believe, and I'm Kelly, thank you. But let's look a little bit broader and see what everyone else is doing, because a lot of people are doing some really great things. I just wanted to mention. And by the way, I'm not a great pie baker, but they got to love whatever I gave them, because I gave them what I got. So the next thing I wanted to say is I actually believe, and I believe in my heart as a business owner myself, Nicole is not the best representative anything regarding the horse race. And the reason I'm saying that is her comment should be no comment. No comment. And the reason is 3 things. Number 1, we're in the middle of a vote. You guys don't need to be in turmoil. Period. You do not need a misstep. Number 2, baby marriage and the baby carriage comment last week was condescending as heck.
So
this
Judy,
this was my turn.
No, Judy, I asked it to be respectful.
That was a serious misstep. This was a serious
Judy,
misstep.
I asked it to be respectful.
What I'm
Understood?
trying to say is,
you can take that
why
offline
can't we
with
say
Nicole.
no comment? No comment. Why not just no comment?
We've asked Nicole to say the facts.
Oh, so wait a minute. Wait, Julie. Last week you said, and we have this on tape, you said, we don't have enough information to answer these questions. Yet you're saying Nicole can go out there and just say whatever she wants, even though you just said you don't have the answers to all the questions.
I'm not
Isn't it
suggesting
much easier to just say
Judy,
no comment?
All right, Judy, you're going to be muted. You're going to be
I'm
muted.
just saying, isn't it easier to say no comment?
This is not respectful. It's
No,
not
it is.
respectful.
It is
I'm
respectful.
not necessarily.
I'm saying, isn't it easier to just say no comment?
So, Judy, I'm talking about the facts, not specifically about the horse racing facility. You're putting those words in my mouth. Facts about anything that is happening. Sewer, whatever is happening.
No, I'm good with all that. I said, when it comes to the horse racing, I said, can't we just say no comment?
What's your third point,
Everything
Judy?
else, absolutely.
Judy, what's your third point?
My third point is, I know this is a tough job for everybody, and this is a tough time. So I hope we can all have a good holiday.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That is an absolutely great way to end the comment. Lauren, I know we couldn't hear you before, and I think the chat's disabled. Are you able to unmute yourself and speak? Nicole, can you just enable the chat for her? Because I'm not sure why we can't hear her. Lauren, the chat's enabled, so if you could put your concern or question in the chat. I'm not sure why we can't hear you. I apologize. Nicole, did you see? So Lauren's comment was when they repaved, they didn't put the crosswalk back in front of Get Up and Dance. Who's in charge of that? Nicole, do we know the answer to that, or can we follow up? I think the answer is, Lauren, that's the first lift on the pavement. That's not the final pavement. They've only done the first lift for the winter. I believe there's going to be another layer that happens. Rob, you might know the answer, but I think there's going to be another layer. If you look at the sidewalks are temporarily paved for the winter because they weren't going to be able to finish the final pavement. So I think they're going to be another layer on top of that, and all of the crosswalks and all of the street markings will be put in at that point. Am I right in that, Rob?
They should put temporary crosswalks in,
yeah.
but they usually wait for at least 2 weeks because the oil of the fresh asphalt will actually cause the paint not to adhere to the asphalt.
So we could follow up with Marty to see if.
Yeah, and make sure they do that before it gets too late for them to do that. Okay,
People are still line painting, so it should be able to get done.
great. Thanks, Rob. All right. Anything else to discuss before I entertain a motion to adjourn? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, so we need to call the roll. Is there any, I'm sure there's no discussion. Call the roll. Kelly?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Julie is an aye. The meeting is adjourned at 8:27. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Thank you, Nicole.